What's up guys, welcome back to another classic. Oh, we gotta shut that window. What's up guys, welcome back to another classic episode of Think Tank Thursday. Today we are gonna be going over why caffeine is killing your parkour. So I recently got back to a place where I'm not taking any caffeine anymore. I used to have 1 cup of coffee a day. I've been in places before, I've done like years before without any caffeine, and that's been a really nice time in my life, but sometimes it can come back in for different reasons. Maybe you want to be more creative, maybe you need some ideas, you want to write, or like you're trying to progress in a mentality kind of space. Not mentality, but like if you need to think a lot, caffeine is a great stimulant for your thought process. So if you need to work on your business, for example, or something really heady, then caffeine is an absolutely great tool for that. But unfortunately with caffeine, it can become incredibly addictive. Most people can't get up in the morning without their cup of coffee, without that, and worse still, energy drinks. I never go in for energy drinks, as you may realize. I've obviously the chemicals in that I don't even need to talk about why that's bad for you, but say you go in for a cup of coffee because you want that energy boost, you want that creative stimulation. I totally get it. And I feel like in different periods of your life, you may want to do caffeine. Like, I think it's definitely a drug that you want to cycle on and cycle off of and use for different scenarios and different situations, right? But when it comes to parkour and when it comes to your body and your mind when you're doing parkour, there's a few different reasons why caffeine is not necessarily the best choice for you in terms of your goals with parkour and your body and recovery and stuff like that. So we've got 2 things to dig into. First, we're going to dig into why caffeine is bad mentally when you're trying to train, and secondly, we're going to dig into why caffeine is bad for you physically when you're doing lots of parkour. So when it comes to the mental aspect of caffeine, what we need to understand about caffeine is that it ramps up your mind space. It's a drug that ramps up the thinking processes in your mind. It turns on your fight or flight response. It jacks up your sympathetic nervous system by pumping your adrenals with cortisol, and you move into a space that's very, and if you've taken too much coffee, you understand, like this kind of jittery, not so sure of the world feeling, you know what I mean? Like you're like, you've got maybe got the sweats, you've maybe got like you know what it's like when you've taken too much caffeine. So that's the extreme of what happens when we drink a lot of coffee. Now, what kind of mind space do you want to be in when you're doing parkour? If we really think about this, if you've looked at a lot of my other videos, you'll know that I advocate being in absolutely the most quiet mind space that you can be in, right? When you are, say when you're trying to do a jump, now you've got the reality of the situation. I've talked about this 100 times now. You've got the reality of the situation, which is, the move you're going to do. Say you're going to do a scary running precision, right? Or say you're going to do a scary concrete. Now, you are going to have the reality of the situation, which is that you can do the move and that you've seen a move that you can do and you're going to go after it. And then you've got the voices in your head that tell you whether or not it's safe or whether or not it's not safe. And usually it's just your mind is filled with reasons why you can't do something. You basically have to progressively show that voice in your head that it's all going to be fine. Or you can have a really quiet mind in the first place and it's easier to overcome those voices. Now, when you take a lot of caffeine, those voices in your head become very, very loud and very, very reasonable. Your logical mind seems to be switched on in a way that's a lot more intense. And so what you end up having is this spinning mind when you're looking at the jump of all those things that could be a fear and that could, like, you're going for that concrete, you've got sweaty hands, you're going to catch your feet on the rail, you're going to catch your knees on the rail, it's a big drop, I'm not going to quite make it, I don't know about this, that, I'm going to hurt myself, all of the normal excuses that come with parkour that we eventually show ourselves are going to be a load of crap, right? They get the volume really, really turned up when it comes to parkour. And as we're saying, like, what kind of area do you want your mind to be in? You want that mind to be as quiet as it can possibly be so that you can really zone in and focus on the actual reality of the situation, which is the visceral experience, which is just the feeling of doing the move. You're living in that physical realm where your mind isn't labeling everything. And definitely go check out my other video when I talk about all about like the mental labels and stuff that we go through. It's well worth just checking out a lot of the mind space stuff on this channel. So when we drink a lot of caffeine, like I say, all of that gets the volume turned up, and then what happens is we make it more and more real to ourselves. And as our anxiety creeps up, because that's what anxiety is. Anxiety is a projection into the future with our minds that has a negative outcome, because our minds are geared towards more negative outcomes. It's very rare that you'll have a constant stream of really positive thought processes, especially when it comes to your safety and there's fear involved. Your mind is going to really ramp up the reasons why you shouldn't be doing stuff. And that future projection causes a massive amount of anxiety, and anxiety is then that feeling in your body, which, if left unchecked, is kind of a jittery, sweaty, ungrounded, unsolid feeling. And this comes from your mind spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning really, really fast, right? And like I say, caffeine is the drug that makes that happen for you. So conversely, say we're off caffeine, and I've been off it for a couple of weeks now again, and the immediate difference I'm noticing is that my mind is, it's serene, it's really, really quiet. It's super, super quiet. And that means that when I'm looking at something, and it's really juxtaposed this, because when I'm looking at a jump, I'm like, very little of my mind is spinning its wheels and just telling me why I shouldn't be doing it. It's just really quiet. And it's just like, what's loud is just my intention to do the thing that I want to do. And because of this, I've been able to go for things a lot quicker, a lot more rapidly. And I live a lot more in that space where everything is just the visceral experience. You know, it's just the physical realm. It's not the excuses, it's not the fear, it's not the anxiety. My body's calmer, I'm calmer, my adrenals aren't jacked up, I'm not like, so because of those things, I'm able to be a lot better at parkour. And like I said, I've been through this before. And now the thing is, I'm not saying caffeine's bad. And like I said in the beginning, there's a reason, for example, that I've been using it is because it's helped my mind come up with a load of new ways to run my business. And like when I'm sitting and coming up with content, or when I'm, when I'm doing anything like sit down creative that requires a lot of thought process, it's a useful thing. And so it is this strategic tool to be used at the right time. But if you're using it just to jack up your energy when you're feeling a bit tired, you're not paying proper attention to the actual ebb and flow of how your energy rolls. You're just, and you're not using it for its real use. You're not using it like appropriately, because you've got to use the right tool for the right job. And caffeine is not the right tool for the parkour job, at least not in my experience. So leading on to the more physical aspects, when we're actually doing parkour, because of the nature of parkour being something that is very, it's very balls to the walls anyway, it's already gonna jack up your adrenals, jack up your cortisol levels, all of those adrenaline level type things. No matter what you're doing, like you're standing at a height, you're about to jump over that, your body is going to be going haywire, because it's going to be like, man, we need to turn on this guy's instincts, and they need to be like on it. They need to be like ready to rock straight away. And if they're not, then this guy's going to die. So your body's naturally already pumping through it the appropriate amount of adrenals for the situation. Now, imagine you've added on top of that the caffeine that as an external drug unnaturally jacks up your adrenals as well. So you're in this place where you've just got an extreme amount of adrenal stress, which causes your body to get tired. It causes your body to like freak out and like sweat and like not be in a place where it can actually deal with what's after appropriately. So say you're out all day, and then you're starting to get tired, you're starting to reach that drop-off point, and you've used your body, you've tired out your body, and then but you want to keep the day going because you're super excited to keep doing parkour, and then you have a coffee to jack your energy back up. Well, what have you done there? You've stress your body to absolute depletion through the energy that you've used in a natural way, and you've maybe already had a cup of coffee, right? And so you've already jacked it up a little bit more than it should be, but even if you're just going natural until the end of the day or till halfway through the day, and then you have that cup of coffee just to push yourself that little bit more, what you're doing, you're not listening to the natural flow of your energy levels. You're not using the right amount of energy and then going home and recovering and having that, you know, yin yang, having that receding recovery time. You're smashing up your adrenals again, and you're going to fatigue yourself and get that adrenal fatigue because you're pumping all that external stimulus into your body and trying to keep yourself in that sympathetic nervous system state, which does damage to your entire system because you're not listening to the natural ebb and flow of your energy. You're just trying to do what you want and your idea of what you think you want, rather than listening to your body, listening to yourself. So that's the physical realm when it comes to actually doing parkour. Now, what about recovery? Because we know recovery is obviously a super important part of parkour, right? So what do we know we need for recovery? Well, we need our adrenal system to be switched off. We need it to be relaxing. We need to be in a parasympathetic nervous system state, which means that your body is in its rest and digest recovery mode. Now, if you've come to the end of the training session and you're having another coffee, then you've still got that cortisol flowing through your body when you're trying to recover. You're going to get system overload. You're not going to get that proper muscle recovery. And then you're going to go out the next day and you're going to not be recovered properly, right? So what it does is it kind of bypasses a switch where your body's naturally wanting to turn off and keeps it running on, keeps it in that sympathetic fight or flight nervous system state, even when you're just on the bus ride home or when you're taking the car home. Or even, you know, you're stretching, you're stretching and your body's like, why are we trying to calm down? I don't get it, I'm still pumped. So the fact that you've bypassed that product means that you're not going to recover properly, which is going to lead to more injuries. It's going to lead to less ability to do parkour. And this is why it's absolutely killing your parkour if you're not being strategic with your caffeine properly. So I've got another video coming out, or it may have even come out, which is part 2 of your energy management, which I'm going to talk about your entire energy system throughout the day. But a big part of that conversation is going to be keeping an eye on where your natural energy flows are. And if you, like I've said in this video, if you're in a place where you're just like thinking, I want more energy, so I'm going to use this, and you think, oh, energy drink, because it says energy drink. And you're like, yeah, I'll just buy that hook, line and sinker and then drink that. And then, whoa, I've got more energy, and it's not going to have any effect on my system, my natural rhythms. Like, you're living in a dream world. That is, it's everything takes its toll. All these drugs have their price. And ultimately, anything that you come to rely on or anything that mucks up your normal rhythm is going to be detrimental to your health, going to be detrimental to yourself, and ultimately detrimental to that highest good, that parkour, that thing that you want to achieve. Like, because, you know, I might not be able to talk you into your health mattering, but it is the case that you want to do better parkour, right? So if you want to do that, then you've got to align with your health systems as well. And the way you do that is by trying to cycle off caffeine. Now, like I say, you can use it in appropriate situations. Maybe if you've got a certain creative day where you're maybe not going to do too much exercise, or you're not going to go stress your adrenals out anyway with parkour, right? You're going to, you know, you need a creative mind, and that's fine too. But if you are doing parkour on a regular basis and you want to keep progressing with your parkour, and you don't want to tax your body in a way that is unnatural, and you want to get that proper recovery, and you want also to be able to do the jumps you're trying to go for, like you want that quiet mind, you want that mind that's ready to do something in that serene Zen way. You don't want it shouting at you while you're trying to do a move, you know? And getting rid of caffeine is actually an amazing fix for that. So obviously it's difficult if you've been doing caffeine for a long time. You know, that first week you're probably going to get some headaches, cycle off it slowly. But just give it a try, man. Like, even if it doesn't work for you, I mean, I can't, like, this is pretty scientific what I'm saying, but I am giving you a first-person perspective on it. This is exactly what's happened for me. This is like direct experience I'm giving you here, but you should just go test it for yourself and find out, and just like work through that tired week where, oh no, I've got to spend a week tired. Like, grow up, you can do that. And then just move on, you know? And a lot of people say to me, oh, I really like the taste of caffeine. And it's like, yeah, cool. So what's your end goal here? You're going to spend the rest of your life screwing up your body because you like the taste of caffeine, like you like that taste on your tongue? Or are you going to prioritize your health and your actual real life goals and your real life self, you know? Like the craving or your actual life, your choice. In my mind, it's a no-brainer. So, you know, just give it a try. Just give it a try. And I promise you're gonna see some really interesting results. You're probably, if you haven't been off caffeine in a while, you probably don't even know what your mind is like in that quiet space. You know, it's kind of the Western world that we live in. It's kind of the routine that people are like, yeah, of course we have a morning coffee. No one can even function without morning coffee. Well, actually, that's not the case, and it does disrupt your normal functioning, and it is a drug, and it does make a difference to your system. So it's important for you to look out for that and check it out. So yeah, just give this a try, guys. You're definitely gonna see some results. You're definitely gonna realize what I'm talking about. You're gonna have much faster recovery. You're gonna be able to go for jumps way easier because your mind's gonna be nice and chill. You're gonna be relaxed. You're not gonna need that stimulation. You're not gonna need that external source to give you what you need. You'll have it from within, which is always a more sustainable route and always a more sustainable way of living. So yeah, give that a go. I hope I've convinced you. I hope you at the very least just give it a try and don't just quit after 3 days of feeling a bit tired on no caffeine. You know, just give it a try. And remember, the way to stick to something like this isn't to go, I've got to give up caffeine. It's just to notice the benefits that you're really getting from actually stopping this cycle, and just don't be dependent on it, because you do become an addict, like plain and simple. So take back that control in your life. Yeah, all right, that's all I've got to say on this topic, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. As always, we'll be back for Think Tank Thursday next week, so make sure that you subscribe for more of these in-depth discussions on just how to be a bit happier with your life, you know? And yeah, I'll be back for you next week. All right, leave me a comment down below. I'd love to have that discussion with you guys. Every comment gets replied to, so just, yeah, let's jump on that community section down below. It's growing quite nicely, so it'd be really good to see you down there, and I'll see you on the next one. Big love.